Hi, Patti here. Do you ever find yourself asking, why can't I focus? Or will I ever have clarity? You may be asking the wrong question. Instead of asking, how can I focus? Or how can I stay focused? You should ask, why can't I focus? So many have told me that one of the things that stops them from starting something new, a YouTube channel or a business, is lack of focus and clarity. Clarity is awesome. However, I want to caution you. I don't think that we should wait for clarity to start something. I watch expert after expert teach their method and still hear to start, you need clarity. Not just clarity, you need crystal clear clarity about your niche, your business, your target audience, your money plan. That quest for clarity kept me stuck for years. I remember saying that I craved clarity, and when I got a glimpse of clarity, it was like a dopamine hit. In fact, I took clarity out of my business roadmap. It's still there, but it's not a step. So instead of packing and repacking for a trip that I never took, I started the journey when I took clarity and replaced it with commit. And then I didn't even put it second. I put choose. I had some decisions to make and I needed to take action. Clarity has followed. I moved forward. I made mistakes, changed courses, but I kept moving. The other steps are create, communicate, and cultivate. And I never would have gotten to cultivate if I was waiting for clarity. And if you're where I was 2 to 3 years ago, then I'll tell you that the fun stuff is in create, communicate, and cultivate. So on one hand, I'm saying don't wait for clarity to start. On the other, I want you to understand some things about it. Years ago, I did a training with businesswomen and I researched topics about clarity and focus and productivity. I found that the tips and hacks given were pretty vague. They were pretty much the same across the board and didn't take into consideration why a person was lacking focus. So let me explain it this way. I have tinnitus, which is ringing in my ears, along with pain. I've had it for about 15 years. When I go to find relief, seek medical advice, or see a doctor, I'm often asked a number of questions ranging from the severity of it, when it started, what makes it worse, what gives me relief, can I sleep, the list goes on. But they're trying to determine why I have ringing in the ears. Was it a loud noise? Was it something that happened gradually? Was it connected to an event or medication? Why I have ringing in the ears and how it affects me today has some bearing on treatment to follow or what they may prescribe. We haven't completely figured it out yet, but I haven't given up. I doubt that we can ever achieve complete focus. However, what if by knowing and recognizing why we're not focused, we were able to be even 10 or 20% more focused? How would a super focused 2 hours in your day change your life, or perhaps change your business? What I'd like to share are 7 possible reasons you're having trouble focusing. The first possible reason you may have trouble focusing is you're not wired for it. It's not in your DNA. We all have particular ways that we are wired. How did God wire you? If you're an entrepreneur by nature, there's a good chance that you're just not wired to be focused. As an entrepreneur and a creative, our brains love variety. We're wired to explore, discover, invent, create, and problem solve. This lack of being focused might be what positions you to be an entrepreneur, a writer, or an artist. You likely prefer variety. Perhaps you tend to go from one thing to the next. So not instinctively being laser-focused person might be something that we have to live with, and knowing it will help us to manage it. However, something to watch for is that without discipline, you may move from one thing to the next too quickly without tying up loose ends. I call it closing loops. In time, leaving a number of unfinished tasks can be frustrating and lack the satisfaction you get from a completed project. It can result in wasteful spending, physical clutter, and in turn, more lack of focus. There are people who start a project and stay laser focused. Did you know that? That's where their time, energy, and resources are invested. When they finish that task, they feel ready to tackle another. It's okay if that's not you. The second reason you may have trouble staying focused is you were never taught focus. Think about it for a moment. I heard this in a TED Talk, and it made so much sense to me. When were you taught to focus? As a child, were you told to focus? Were you told to concentrate? Most of us were, right? But were you taught to focus? Taught to concentrate? Maybe you were the student looking around the room, counting tiles on the ceiling, or wondering when the next bell would sound, while the rest of the room was deep in thought, reading the assigned chapter or doing the night's assignment so they didn't have to deal with it when they got home. Do the words "just focus" remind you of that frustration? You were not alone. Yes, some were focused, while others were trying to focus without really understanding what that meant. Learning to focus, the closest I can think of is if a student was smart enough or fortunate enough to take a how to study course, I have to imagine that focus or concentration would have been part of it. Unfortunately, I was not that student. Or as a child, you may have learned to focus through a martial art, music lessons, or an organized sport. Keep your eye on the ball. Focus. Keep your head in the game. Focus is such a valuable skill not to be taken for granted. Yet, even as an adult, you can still train yourself to be more focused, maybe with the help of a coach, but it takes intention and it takes self-discipline. It takes practice and it takes repetition. And number 3, another reason you may have trouble staying focused is you have conditioned yourself to lack focus. This is the power of your words. Listen to your words and your thoughts. Do you often catch yourself saying things like, "I'm a mess. I can't think straight. I can't focus. My mind is going in 1,000 directions." Your brain is conditioned to prove you right. This fascinates me. You say, "I can't focus," and your brain says, "I'm on it," and starts flipping through the Rolodex looking for evidence to back that up. What about the last time you messed up and the time you didn't complete a job? It'll start playing through old tapes and reinforce this message: I can't focus, I can't think straight. On the positive side, you say, "I've got this," and your brain will look for confirmation. You think, "I know I can figure out this problem," and your brain wants to prove you right and looks for, what do I already know? Where should I look? Who do I already know? Does that make any sense? If you tell yourself, "I can't focus, I can't fix this problem," do you think your brain is going to contradict you and go to the, what do I already know? Where should I look? Who do I ask? Of course not. If you're having trouble staying focused, pay attention to your words. Your brain likes comfort, convenience. It looks for shortcuts. You say, "I can't do this, I can't focus." That's giving your brain an easy way out. Have you ever heard the phrase conserving brain power? Focus literally takes energy. Disciplining yourself to focus can be draining and physically tiring, like a muscle you need to train or retrain. Realize that you may not be focused because you have allowed yourself to be a person who doesn't focus. So if you don't push back at all, the default will be the old easy ways. Don't beat yourself up, but challenge the thought. And then if you're having trouble staying focused, the 4th reason may be that there's something else going on. Lack of focus is at times a side effect of a number of things that might need your attention. A physical condition, mental stress, anxiety, emotional or physical fatigue, poor diet, dehydration. Most of us know this, but do we pay attention? If our lack of focus is because something else is going on, it may require something of us. We would rather think, "It's how I'm wired," or "I haven't been taught," than taking an honest look at how we might be contributing to it. Just type diet and focus, diet and concentration into the search bar, and you'll find endless articles on the connection between the foods we eat or don't eat and our capacity to focus. What about sleep and focus? Exercise and focus? The effects of stress on our ability to focus. I think you get the idea. Again, ask, why am I having difficulty focusing? Could the answer be, I haven't eaten in hours? I need to take a break? go for a walk, get some fresh air, or have a drink of water? Have you ever tried to focus while you're in pain or on medication? It can be difficult. So acknowledge it, recognize it, adapt as you can. Maybe you need to practice some self-care. Are you going through something stressful or pounding stuff? Let's do that again. Are you going through something stressful and pounding through? It's not going to help the situation. Do you know that brain fog is real? If you experience this, consider talking to a professional, especially if it's unusual for you and has come on suddenly, or it's been like so long that you can't remember when you didn't feel that way. I talked with a friend recently, and she was able to relate as she was diagnosed as an adult with ADHD. She said that just knowing this has helped her to understand why getting focused and staying focused was such a struggle. It wasn't just the way she was. It was because of something else, and now she had direction and tools to work on it. The fifth reason you may have trouble staying focused, and we can see this pretty much everywhere, is we're overwhelmed with too many options, too many opportunities. We have too many choices and too many decisions to make. We can't stay focused because everything is moving and changing so fast. Options, choices, opportunities are great. They can also be overwhelming and distracting. There's a real concern that as each generation comes along, the art of focus is becoming less and less. We are constantly bombarded. We're overstimulated. We literally can't sit still. If we can't sit still, if our mind is flooded with options and choices, how will we calm ourselves? It's a good reminder. How will we still our minds to focus? If we feel someone has turned on a fire hydrant, I've had seasons where I've literally had to clear my physical space, my work area, my office, and my home. You may need to simplify. You may need to get rid of clutter and get rid of some stuff. You may need to shut off your notifications on your phone. Leave Facebook groups that are no longer serving you and your goals. Unsubscribe to emails that you no longer read, but they're still cluttering your inbox. If this is what's keeping you from focus, just the thought of turning off distractions or limiting options can seem impossible. You may need a coach or an accountability partner. Eliminating some of these things will help you to focus on the important things. One of my favorite things is to go through my business ideas incubator with people, helping them go from too many ideas, scattered thoughts, to a business idea they can move forward with, at least take action. In time, they may revisit something, but they start. Okay, number 6. The reason you may find it difficult to focus is you're trying to focus on something that doesn't seem real, something that your brain doesn't see as a possibility. It's hard to stay focused on something that doesn't seem attainable. I thought about the grandkids playing make-believe. My goodness, they're so much fun to watch and listen to. Let's pretend we climbed the mountain. Let's pretend we're princesses. I'm super strong. Let's pretend it's nighttime and I'm a mermaid. And we can't touch the floor because it's lava. But you know what? It's pretend. And almost without notice, someone says, do you want to do a craft? Do you want to read a book? Mimi, can we watch a show? And basically, instantly, they move on. It was fun, but it wasn't real. Now, stay with me. Our dreams or our goals aren't playing make-believe. But what if your brain doesn't see something as real? It'll be hard to think of logical steps to get there, and it'll be hard to stay focused. When another idea or project is suggested, it's super easy to flip and say, oh, that's real, I can do that. So don't get me wrong, I want you to dream and dream big, but I don't want you to wake up in the morning and think, I need to have everything figured out and planned out so that I can retire by 50, which is too late for me, by the way. What if you haven't started making money online and someone wants you to focus on a 6 or 7 figure this year? It may seem crazy to try and stay focused on making your first 6-figure year. Is making 6 figures a year unrealistic? No, it's been done. But is it realistic to you? Many people are doing it, but what if we took that dream or that goal and brought it into something that our brains could understand? Something that your brain says, that's something I can do today. And when you do that, add the next step, and then the next and the next. Ask yourself if you're trying to focus on something that doesn't seem attainable. Your brain is logical. It wants to protect you. And it will be saying, abort, abort, if you haven't broken down that big dream, the big vision, into what seems conceivable or realistic or achievable. That doesn't mean downsize your dream at all. Just give yourself a task that you can conceivably start and finish, that you've seen done or that you've done. Does this mean that it has to have been done by someone else? That you can't do a new thing, invent something new? Absolutely not. But have a plan, map out your next step and stick with it. I think about double-mindedness. If you want to do something in a day, but all day you're saying or thinking, I can't do this, you'll have a difficult time making the leap. You need to know how to bridge where you are to where you want to be. If staying focused is an issue, ask yourself if the task you want to accomplish seems real. Number 7 is this. You may have trouble staying focused because you are either trying to focus on the wrong thing or you simply don't know what to focus on. This may be you if you say things like, I don't even know where to start. I haven't nailed it down. Something doesn't feel right or something is off. When I get this figured out, I'll make progress. You may not be able to focus or finish a task because you don't have a good enough grasp on what you need to focus on. So if something or someone distracts you, you could find yourself going a completely different direction. Your brain didn't know what to come back to or how to get back on track. Distractions are going to come. Ideas are going to pop into your head. If we know what we're working on, we can evaluate the other things and carry on. But what if it could be that it's actually the wrong thing? There's 2 parts to this. What if it's the wrong thing, not a wrong thing? It's wrong for you. It's not a priority. There's nothing holding you to it. There's nothing to keep you focused because it's not important enough for you. Maybe it's someone else's dream. Perhaps it's wrong for you because the timing isn't right. Maybe it's not the right season in life, or wrong for you because it doesn't align with your values. It's not wrong. If you're trying to focus on something that doesn't fit into your core values or God's direction, you'll have confusion and lack clarity. That's how it's supposed to be. It's called conviction. Many of us don't know what's important to us. We don't really know our core values. I was on a coaching call with a 62-year-old business owner who was having difficulty with follow-through. She said that in all her years, she had never stopped to consider what her values were. I could feel her confidence and resolve rise as we unpacked and discovered that she valued relationships, integrity, and justice, to mention a few. She could now understand why some good initiatives weren't good for her and why she couldn't seem to fully commit. In business, there's a lot of emphasis on knowing our customers, our clients, and we should, but do we even know ourselves? Do we know what we want? Do we know what's important to us? What do you value? And what are your priorities? Pick one small step and start today. If you lack focus or have difficulty staying focused because you don't know what you should be focusing on, or what you're focusing on doesn't align with your priorities or values, I would love to talk further and help you in that discovery. And I hope that understanding that will help you know how to respond when those situations do come. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.